You know what language schools don't want you to figure out for yourself? It is that you can make way more progress in just 15 minutes a day of language learning than most people do in 3 years of regular classes. Pretty wild. I've seen it myself in my time as a teacher. There is a routine that I've tested with thousands of students that works, not because it's fancy, but because it actually lines up with how your brain learns. And I recently asked viewers what they regret most about language learning. Almost everyone said the same thing, which is that I wish I'd started sooner. So if you've been putting it off, you're not alone and you haven't missed your chance. This right now actually might be your moment. I'm Olly Richards. I'm a linguist, a language teacher, and author of a bunch of language books I'm really proud of. And hey, some of you guys have even read them apparently. Over the last 20 years, I've tested dozens of methods myself and with thousands of students across 15 different languages. And time again, I've seen the same thing. Fluency, becoming fluent in a language, does not come from talent. It does not come from putting more time in than everyone else or from the textbook that you choose. It comes from training your brain to learn in the way that it actually wants to learn. And honestly, we've been doing it backwards. All the grammar drills, the vocabulary lists, the 2-hour study sessions, the stuff you probably remember from school and that you may still be doing now because that's what you remember from school, they make it feel like you're working hard. But that's not how your brain picks up languages. In fact, the stuff that feels too easy, well, that's often the good stuff, the stuff that your brain actually wants. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the complete 15-minute daily routine that helps you finally get fluent, even if you are busy, even if you are tired, even if you think you're bad at languages. And here's the best part, it works because it ignores everything that language teachers usually tell you to do. So if you want to follow along and actually make this routine stick, I've got something very useful for you to help you put it into action. You'll see that a little bit later. It makes a huge difference. Let's start with the big fat lie that messes up almost everybody. I don't have enough time to learn a language. Totally understandable, but also not true. You've just been programmed to believe that learning languages requires massive amounts of time blocks, 2-hour study sessions, weekend grammar marathons, summer immersion programs. But the truth is your brain doesn't learn languages by cramming. It's not an information gathering exercise. It learns through timing. 15 minutes a day at the right moment of the day beats 3 hours of random study while probably scrolling Instagram in between. I see what you get up to. And the people who learn the fastest, they really don't necessarily work harder. They just do the right things in the right order. I actually watched what my most successful students were doing, and they were all following the same pattern without even realizing it. They were naturally spacing their learning out throughout the day. And it kind of clicked for me. Well, we can reverse engineer this. 3 phases, each one about 15 minutes. Morning is input, midday is processing, and evening is output. Now, this is all about timing. That's way more important than the actual thing you're learning. Think about how you learn to recognize your mum or your dad's voice, understand sarcasm, or how to know when someone is joking, that kind of thing. You didn't study those skills. You absorb them through repeated exposure, right? So let me show you how this works. And by the way, if you want to actually follow along and study and stick with this routine, I've got a language goal planner for you. It's completely free. Link in the description below. You can grab it now if you want to assess where you are at before we dive in. Up to you. It's super easy. It lets you record your top 3 language goals for the next 3 months. And you can also rate your own progress in reading, writing, listening, and speaking. There's a bunch more, but I won't spoil it for you now. Let's get back to how these 3 phases work. First thing in the morning, your brain is fresh. Your focus is sharp. You haven't been bombarded with 7 hours of English just yet. This is the best time for passive listening or reading. So you pick a podcast, a story, a short video, something you'll enjoy, and you just let it play. Don't pause, don't rewind, don't look anything up. Here's the crucial part. Your only job is to enjoy it. Think of it like music. Let the rhythm and sounds just wash over you. And this is exactly what I did when I first learned Brazilian Portuguese. I essentially learned Portuguese by listening to Brazilian music, learning the lyrics to songs and things like that. I just loved it so much that I kept it up. I kept listening, and before I knew it, I could sing all of these Brazilian songs, and then the actual speaking came very quickly after that. When you find music or stories or podcasts or whatever that you like, you can write these things down on the planner that I mentioned earlier. Writing things down makes things tangible. It makes it easier for you to stick to the plan. My best advice is to follow the 60 to 70% rule. If you understand less than about 60%, it's probably too hard for you, or else you're not going to be able to access it for learning purposes. Much more than that, it can be too easy, which means there's no challenge. You want your brain brain working just hard enough to stay engaged without giving up. And this sweet spot forces your brain to work hard while you're actually still enjoying it. So think of it like the Goldilocks zone. It's not too cold, it's not too hot, it's just right. And picking this material, where you can understand, 2/3 of it, the majority of it, but not quite everything. Like picking the material at that level is key to actually being able to enjoy something and learning from it. Most of us just pick any old random stuff and then give up because it's either too easy or too hard. Don't let that be you. Put a bit of time into finding the right things. All right, so now it is later in the day. You've had your lunch, maybe a coffee or two, and your brain has been doing some sneaky work in the background. You primed it in the morning, didn't you? You might be amazed what your brain has figured out in the meantime when you weren't paying attention. So now go back to that same content again, listen again, or read it again, but this time with a different goal. Now you are a detective. You're hunting for clues. You're looking for words that keep popping up. You notice sounds that feel familiar. Maybe there's a particular phrase that makes you go, hey, what was that phrase? What did they say? Write it down. Your brain loves patterns. So what we want to do is help it notice those patterns. You might try shadowing a few lines, mimicking the rhythm of the speaker. Don't overthink it, just get the sounds in your mouth. The important part here is you want to only look up words that either kind of completely block your understanding or else make you super curious. Curiosity is a rocket fuel for language acquisition. And the magic is that your brain is already halfway there. You're not cramming new info, you're connecting dots that were already planted earlier. Am I making sense? The key thing here is to revive what you were listening to in the morning, but just bring a little bit more deliberate focus and attention to it than you were before. Right, it is now the end of the day. You've already listened or read once. You've gone back through it then and noticed a few new things. And now it's time to see what actually stuck. So try to summarize what you read or heard out loud, just in your own words. I mean, actually say it, actually speak it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's listening. We want to verbalize things. So say out loud the things that you remember. Let the words come out however they want to. What we're doing is we're creating a sort of big loop from hearing something, reading something, processing it, and then externalizing it, because this mimics the entire process, mimics what we want to do with languages, right? So just let the words come out however they want to. If you're feeling brave, you could hit record on your phone and maybe just record the things you're saying. It doesn't matter. You can send it in a voice note to someone. Messy is fine. Messy is kind of the point. Sometimes you will be totally blank, and that's fine. This isn't about getting it all right. It's just about giving your brain the chance to surface what it's been absorbing in the background. Because sometimes completely out of the blue, a full sentence will just fall out of your mouth and you won't even know where it came from. That is your brain doing its thing. That's what the brain is capable of. I still remember this happening to me when I lived in Japan, and I used to take the train every day, and the kind of robotic train announcements that you get in Japan, I would kind of pay attention to them. And before I knew it, I was like repeating verbatim all these long, massive train announcements about the destination of the whatever. And it just happened naturally. Your brain can remember incredible amounts of things. You verbalizing those and actually speaking them helps to solidify it in your brain. But the more you do this, the more natural it becomes. Just remember, this evening slot is not about pushing yourself. It's not about studying. It's about letting the language rise to the surface in a deliberate way. It's pretty exciting. Now, one thing that took me way too long to learn is that comprehension, so being able to understand what you read or understand what you listen to in a podcast or video, it does not come from understanding every single word. Many, many times I used to go back to the story, I'd rewatch, reread it, rewind it, and I would just still be confused. I would drive myself crazy because I was not able to understand every single word. I can't tell you how many times I sort of sat there feeling like nothing was going in. It can be very frustrating if you do that to yourself. Then one day it hit me. I was focusing on the wrong thing. And I know it might sound a bit strange, but it did change my entire approach to language learning. Comprehension doesn't come from understanding every single word. It comes from understanding the gist or the plot of what's going on, of the story, or the anecdote, whatever it may be. It's like how you understand Harry Potter, not because you know every word on the page, but because you follow Harry's journey, right? If you get the gist, the emotion, the jokes, your brain then fills in the gaps. You don't need to stop and translate everything. You just need to care about what is happening. And this is why I always say to choose stuff that you actually enjoy. No random textbook dialogues, not ordering coffee in Paris or giving directions to taxi drivers, something where you want to know what happens next, something you care about. Because here's the thing, when you're emotionally invested in the material, your brain works harder and smarter. It's going to remember more. The spark of the emotion, that is your ace in the hole. All right, real talk. I know that you are smart, so I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This routine only works if you actually do it. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. Even when you're tired, you still do it. Even when you feel stuck, you still do it. Some days you'll feel like nothing is working. It still happens to me. Just the other day, I was watching a Japanese drama on Netflix and thinking, why is it that I still cannot understand this thing? We all have these moments. So it doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. Language learning is not a linear process. It's more like watering a plant. You keep watering it even when it feels like nothing is happening and it's not growing. Motivation will get you off the starting blocks, but it won't take you all the way. It's your routine that will make you learn. Motivation is fickle. Routine and your reliance on your routine will get you to the result. And the bit that surprised me is that what discipline can sound quite intense, right? But in practice, it's actually kind of peaceful. It takes the drama and the guesswork out of it. There's no big decisions. You just show up. That's it. So you ready to actually do this? So let's make it real simple. Here's what I would do if I was starting from scratch. Step 1, pick your 3 time slots in the day, morning, midday, evening. Be specific, like 15 minutes in the morning with coffee or in the car after work. For me personally, I like to do something first thing in the morning when I wake up before the day starts. It just helps to make sure it actually happens. I set reminders on my phone. I put it in my diary. We're not trying to make a big thing here. It's just, let's be clear about what we're going to do. Treat it like brushing your teeth. It's a non-negotiable. Step 2, download my free language goal planner. Links in the description. It will help you just track everything and remember what you're supposed to be doing and stay on course when life gets messy, which it always does. For example, there is a monthly consistency tracker where you can mark off each day as you complete it. It's simple, right? But it's fun and it just helps you stay the course. Step 3, choose one piece of content, whatever it is, podcast, book, story, and stick with it for a whole week. Don't bounce around from one thing to the next. It's going to be tempting, but resist that. Even if you feel a little bit bored or, going over the same thing, resist the boredom and embrace the repetition, because repetition is an absolute superpower. That's how your brain locks things in. Step 4, give it 30 days. Promise me this, not 30 perfect days, just 30 consistent ones where you're turning up 3 times a day to do the thing you said you were going to do. It's long enough to see progress in 30 days, but it's short enough that it's harder to talk yourself out of it because it's just 30 days. The language planner has got space to write down what you watched or listened to, any little aha moments, any daily check-ins to help you stay on track. And it's a low-key way to keep your brain chasing the wind. So apparently even our brain's like a gold star from time to time. And if you miss a day, don't start over, just pick up where you left off. Progress isn't about streaks, it's about momentum. Picture this, it's 3 months from now, you're out for a walk and you catch yourself thinking in your new language. You meet someone from, Sweden or Italy, and you can actually reply. No panic, no brain freeze, just words coming out. And all it took was showing up. 15 minutes, 3 times a day. What do you think? You in? The plan is in the link in the description. Go and grab it and let's do this properly. And if you're curious why this works so well, I've linked another video at the end that shows exactly what's happening in your brain. Because if you stick with this routine, your brain actually changes in some pretty amazing ways. You're going to want to check this out.